Okay.
Here at the At Home Show, as we begin the very first broadcast of October 2021, we would like to take a moment to remind you that despite what you might be hearing in certain department stores, it is still October, not December. Yes, Christmas music has already invaded some of our favorite shopping areas, but you must resist. Halloween and Thanksgiving need their proper due. Will you stand with us? Live from the Green Room Studios from the spacious property of Bates Nursery and Garden Center, 3810 Whites Creek Pike, it's the At Home Show with Josh Cary and David Bates.
Oh, welcome in, everybody. It's Saturday morning, means it's time for the At Home Show. We're here for you live from the Green Room Studios, as Michael so aptly pointed out during the introduction. But we're missing a cast member this morning.
He's not here?
No, Mr. Bates had it's one of those game time decisions, and he could not go. He is he's not going to be with us this morning, but that's okay. It looks like everything's going to be all right. We've got a minor injury to an ocular place in his face, so I mean, we want everything to be good, but we don't have any further information other than that.
In roughly the 3 or 4 years I've been doing this show with you guys, I think this is like the third time he's ever missed.
Totally. In the nearly 23 years that we've been doing it, I can count them on one hand. So
I was there for most of them.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe. So we go back.
I wasn't.
You were? No, you were not. Okay, well, the cast of crew is all in, and we're going to continue to do the show as normal, but we normally start with David doing the weather, so we're going to toss that to Michael this morning.
It's going to be very abbreviated.
Good.
So today, going to be a good day in the morning.
Okay.
81 is going to be the high.
Okay.
Might rain this afternoon. Tomorrow, 81, rain.
All day?
Or no, 77 and rain all day. 70% chance.
Oh.
No rain on Monday, high of 78. And pretty much in the mid-70s all week with rain.
Okay, why?
That's the weather, yo.
The weather, yo?
Yeah.
Yo?
Yo.
All righty, folks. Well, as you can see, Austin's sitting to my right, and your left. Cary's across the way. Tyler's behind the board, keeping us all up and running. And
the camera's frozen on Michael.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's the way it...
It looks nice, though.
I don't even like being on the camera.
Looking through the twigs.
He is looking through the twigs.
Well,
very fall-like.
I'm going to cut away to the other side of the room while I restart the camera.
So
Hi. Good
many
morning.
issues.
Oh, look who's here. We have a special surprise guest as well. We've got Karen Enlow from the Pottery Market. Mm-hmm. She's going to be joining us, and we're going to be talking to her about her products, and we're going to talk about everything else that's in the studio this morning as well. But, Cary, I understand that the Instagram question feed was quite busy this week. So we go ahead and get started.
Busy. Are you guys ready?
We're ready.
All right. So our first question comes from Our Wild Roots. Can you guys ever order fruit trees not seen on the floor? Austin, what would you say to that? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, we try to carry the fruit trees that live here and do well here and fruit here. If it's something that's really oddball, we can probably get it for you. If I know Julie, who's been ordering plants for us for the past 26 years, she can probably find it. Now, whether or not it's going to do well here and live and produce for you is a whole different ball game. So, yes, we can get a lot of oddball stuff. And if you, a good little tool to know is that you can special order.
Yeah. What was the question again? I didn't read it one more time.
Hold on, let me pull it right back up.
It was on the floor?
They were saying...
On the sales
okay.
floor.
The lot.
Okay.
Yeah, what we would call the lot. Things that we don't usually carry, I'm assuming, is what they mean. But like I said, yeah, I mean, if it's depending on what it is.
Yeah, that would be really good to know for the listener. If is there a way to respond to them there? Hopefully they're watching.
Yeah, we'll respond on Instagram. We'll put up answers and we can start a conversation.
Wonder what we were actually looking for, because I mean, if you're going to be looking for star fruit, I'm not sure that they're going to do well here.
No, mango, citrus, olives, things like that are not going to perform well here. I mean, even like as oddball as we get is probably like apricots. They do okay. Mm-hmm. kind of.
But I believe I saw pawpaws out here this
We
year.
got pawpaws. They're native.
They are native.
Those
My
are
parents
fine.
have those.
Oh yeah, they can live here just fine. But yeah, so what do you want? And we might can get it.
Julie can get almost anything.
Yeah.
She's amazing when it comes to finding things.
Now, hopefully, if you had a greenhouse or a big arboretum, you might be able to pull something like that off. But again, even apples are marginally great here. You're not going to get the Macintoshes in a lot of cases, or some of the, the environment's just not here for us. So
Yeah,
I do have a lemon tree that I keep inside that does great.
I know a lot of folks that have Myers that do real well, but they take them in and they take them back out in the summertime and let them live and love.
Yep.
That's right.
Kiddo.
All right.
All right, second question. This comes from Tina Corell W. Elliott. How can you manage and prevent so many suckers on a dappled willow tree from coming from the ground? That's a good question.
That is a good question, and it's unfortunately there's no good answer. You have to just cut them. I mean, the willows sucker really, really badly. They always do. If you have a tree form plant, that means you have a single stem to a canopy up top. They've worked on that to get it that way, and then what happens below is that they sucker from the root base, and when that happens, you simply have to cut them off. I don't know of any other way to deal with it. You can't spray anything on it or give it any sort of whatever to get it to not do that. So whenever they do sucker like that, you just got to cut them off. Unfortunately, I mean
That's good, but that in nature, that's how they propagate, right? That they just move out and move on.
yeah, or it's just honestly just how it grows. I
Right.
mean, they want to be more of a bush rather than like a single stem tree. Like I said, if you want it to be a single stem tree, you have to kind of pick one stem, stake it up, and then grow it without any suckers, So
Right.
the growers are doing that, and they're vigilant about it. But whenever we're having it in the yard or whatever, if it suckers up, then it's
You're saying that the listener's lazy? They don't want to get out there and do it?
Oh, you're putting words in Ted's
Negative.
mouth.
Never said that. Just,
He was thinking it. Alrighty, but 615-499-6690. That's the number to do. And join us here if you want to comment on the Facebook feed. We'll be monitoring that at the At Home Show with Josh, Cary, and David Bates page. If you have multiple notifications, David sends one out, In the Garden sends one out, Earth Mix sends one out, so they'll all be there, and we do review them and bring them up during the week, but we might not call it out on the air. Yes, sir?
I did get a question earlier this week from a one yard boy. It's not a funny question,
The
actually.
Turf Daddy?
Yes.
Oh.
He was asking me why grass seed prices were starting to trend upwards. For instance, you go look for ryegrass now, and you might notice it's $6, $7, $8 more than it used to be.
Okay.
Apparently, they had a bad crop out west. It was not a bad crop. I mean, the crop was fine. It's just the yield was, they only got like 40 or 50% of what they were expecting.
So it was a bad crop.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the seed's fine. Some people, I told that to somebody in the store the other day, and they're like, so the seed's bad? I'm like, no. We just don't have a lot of it.
That's just 40% of it in the bag's okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if the army worms had anything to do with that.
Could have been, but they're a whole. I mean, I know that they grow it in Oregon and Washington State. I believe Minnesota is really big in that.
Believe it or not, some of that ryegrass I think is also developed in Arizona.
Really?
Some farms, sod farms and stuff. I don't know. We had some guys go out there to Arizona because of it.
Yeah, they went out there to play golf. Don't let them fool you.
I'm sure that happened.
It was the suits that were out there. They were checking out the turf at the golf courses. But no, and speaking of one turf daddy, yard boy, I'm minding my own business, taking a short break this week in Spring Hill, Tennessee, before an appointment that I had down there. And guess who pulls up beside me?
Z Yard Boy?
Turf daddy. Yeah. Just out of the clear blue sky. So you never know who you're going to run into in Spring Hill. You got to be careful.
He's always down in Spring Hill. That's like where he mows like 90% of his lawn.
Well, he's good. But it's kind of scary in the middle of the afternoon to see him sometimes.
Running into the Yard Boy in Spring Hill is like running into a hamburger at McDonald's.
JFM? Really?
Yeah. Like he's just always there.
Karen is over there, and she's probably sitting back just aghast. I mean, because we're bantering and bringing some things around. But she is going to be coming on. We're gonna bring her up and then talk to her in just a minute. But folks, wake the neighbors, shake the dog, go out there and bring some people in, because what she's got to show us is amazing. And we're going to be joining her in just a minute. Cary, do we have one more question? Because I understand before we move on.
Oh, we have a lot more questions,
Okay.
but I will throw one more out to
Okay.
you guys. This comes from Universal Craftsman 40. Ooh, that's a great name. Can morning glories be grown in a greenhouse and make seeds year round?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Morning glories.
they can grow anywhere.
They do.
They grow everywhere in
You're
my
right.
garden.
If you have a greenhouse, yeah, I mean, morning glories are going to keep on going perennially. I'm not sure why you would want to grow morning glories year round. I mean, I guess
They are pretty.
I mean, they're pretty. They're kind of invasive, if you will. But yes, if you have a greenhouse, throw them in a pot. They're going to keep on. I'd say like during the dead of the winter, even in a greenhouse, they're probably, unless you heat it, they're probably going to not, free flower as much as they would during the growing season and produce seed. But I'd still say they throw a number of flowers and a number of seed after that. So yeah, I mean, give it a go.
Aren't
It's one
morning
of the
glories?
easiest.
Aren't the morning glory seeds themselves poisonous?
I do believe they are poisonous, yes.
They are.
Now I wonder if day length would have anything to do with the amount of blooms that she might get in the winter times.
Probably not enough light, during the day is going to,
Okay.
not make them bloom as much, but it's a morning glory. It's going to live, that's for sure.
Alrighty, 615-499-6690. We see the yard boy, he's out there. Bill Hayes is out there watching. We've got a bunch of folks on the Facebook page watching the show. Share it out. Go to YouTube, like it. We'll be out there for you as well too. Alrighty, folks. Tyler, do we have Karen's video ready to go? Because I think it's about time to bring her up.
We sure do. Karen, I believe you said you were gonna.
I'll just talk just a little bit
Okay.
to get you started before we get onto the video. So, yes, I'm happy to be here with these wonderful people in the green room. So, it's a lot of fun.
Okay, here we go.
Great group. So,
Well, that didn't work. Hold on. Here we go.
okay.
Nope, that didn't work either. Hold on.
Wow.
There we go.
Okay.
Oh, I guess we're
Here's
going
a
for the
video
video.
from my last trip to Asia in 2019, as you can see.
Nice.
So it looks like the music is muted on it. That's fine. Okay, so this is the guy. I'll get into more details, but just this guy, these are the large outdoor pots, and he's literally putting pottery in layer by layer. To make those large pots, you might have 5 or 6 layers. Some of these are just cute pictures of people. This is at the when they're actually making the clay. It's about the only automation in the dragon kilns that I'll talk a little bit more about later. So very little automation. That's me inside a kiln. Yes, it's not running. That's me on top of a kiln, which is not running. And this is some production pictures of actually one of the pots that is on the table in front of me. There's a lot of handmade nature in the small pottery as well. This is glazing.
Are you in Thailand?
No, this is Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Yeah,
Okay.
some of the shots in the video were in Thailand because I did I did go through Thailand looking at their pottery on that trip as well. But these shots are in Vietnam. The indoor shot was in China. So that's the glaze that's drying. That's just before it's going into the kiln. So this is a dragon kiln. This is actually footage that I shot when I was there. So these pots are drying on top of the kiln before they go into the kiln to be fired. And there is one example of the finished product. So these are just that's the side view of a kiln. It's a little there's a little smoke in there, but you might be able to pick out the chambers. It's a cute little baby of one of my suppliers. So, okay, that pot right there, she is etching in the design, and I'll show you the 2 pots that was actually our products being produced that day. Security guards that's the largest pot in the world, they claim.
Wow.
And Josh, that last one was from Thailand. So, anyway, The pottery, I think the main thing I'd like to talk about is that the takeaway from that video is that these pots are really extremely handmade. They're really art pieces that you're buying, especially the large outdoor garden pots. The techniques that are used are thousands of centuries old. They've been doing it like this really for so many years. And the dragon kiln is called that because if you look at it from the side, it looks like a dragon's back. So it's a series of chambers. Let's see, maybe we can throw up a few photos of the dragon kilns. So, okay, so that's actually the chamber of a dragon kiln. So the dragon kilns will have 20 chambers that go long ways, and they get higher as they go up towards the back. And maybe show a picture of the dragon kiln if you can pop that one up. There's a few there. Okay, so you're looking, the lowest part in the front is where the firing starts, and then those are the chambers of the kiln, and it'll continue to rise up. So if you look at it in the side view, you'll see that it looks like a dragon's back. But so this technique, these dragon kilns are very ancient. And that particular one is not necessarily ancient,
there we go.
But there's a side view. Yep, that's great. So basically the pots start with the clay. You saw it being mixed. It starts with the clay. It gets flattened out, and the guy that you saw, he's putting it into the pot layer by layer. And it takes sometimes 5 or 6 layers because the pots need to be very thick in order to stand up to the heat in the kilns. The heat in the kilns are 12 to 1400 degrees C, which is 2000 to
That's
2500 degrees. Yeah, Fahrenheit. So that's all important because it's the temperatures that you can fire the clay at that helps with its frost resistant qualities. And the wood firing technique used in the dragon kilns also creates these unusual, no two pots are alike. It creates this unusual dripping that you might be able to see.
It's got some, again, each and every one's going to be.
There it is.
Now, does the smoke affect that at all since it's wood fired?
I don't think the smoke has a lot to do with it, but it might.
Okay.
But what else were you thinking?
Well, as I was understanding it, you were saying that as they form them, as most folks, when you think about pottery, you've got a spinning wheel, and we think about the ghost and the guy coming behind you and talking to you in your ear while you're going.
Yeah.
But they're actually they're actually
not that exciting.
Well, Patrick Swayze, he's everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
But
Love that movie.
The big pot that the gentleman was working on, he's actually forming it. So it's more like a sculpture than it is a throwing technique that they're using.
Yes, these are highly talented sculptors. I mean, they are master sculptors, and they put it in there layer by layer, smooth it out. Before, so the mold already has the etching in it, like for this pot, the white pot in the front. But yeah, he can only make 8 to 10 of those a day. They're really giant 24, 30-inch pots. So it's, if you think of how many pots you get at Bates, so it takes a long time to make these pots. So now when you get to some of the smaller ones, they don't take as long. I've got tons of photos. Okay, the picture that's up, or it's getting ready to show that. Let's look at that because that's a good example of after it has now been formed. This is an urn, and they shrink quite a bit once they're drying. The moisture starts to come out of the clay.
Because it's very important that they be dry. There's no moisture left in them, because I've done a little bit of pottery in the past, and if there's the slightest bit of moisture or an air bubble in the clay, it'll explode inside the kiln.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
You know a lot about pottery,
Yeah,
Josh.
that's a
I know
great.
a lot about pot.
I bet you do.
I started to name my company the Pot Lady, but maybe.
Oh yeah, you were telling me
Yeah, my
that
daughter
last time you
thought
were
that
here.
was a good idea, and I thought, well, I don't know, maybe the pottery market.
You
is
get a lot of
better.
run on the
Yeah.
internet searches, but
Yeah.
at the bottom there, they've got duct tape around it. Now, these are formed, or they're pieces, and they build it up as they go, or does he? Because up at the top there, is there another piece that sits there?
So you're seeing in the front of that picture that is partially unmolded.
Okay.
So they have to do these large tall pots in stages, because if they don't, they're going to sway, and
Okay.
when it dries out, then you could have a lean in the pot.
Okay.
The bracing on the pot in the back is to keep it upright, because that's still considered wetware. It is in some stage of drying, but it is dry enough for it to be completely out of the mold.
And folks, we're going to apologize for the quality. We're shooting it off of off of a TV screen. I will put together a collage of these and put them up on the Facebook page and after the show today, and get you, so you can see exactly what it is we're talking about. But if you're looking at them as Karen sent them, you can see where the bottom of the pot is actually more moist than the top. You can see it's drying, and that's an amazing process, and to be that big. And boy, that is labor intensive.
Yeah, great observation, Josh. That's exactly right. It's so true. I mean, and it takes a lot of talent. These guys and ladies and the men and women that work in the factories, it's an art. There's no timer going on. These are in open air conditions, and there's moisture. They go through rainy seasons. So
My goodness! Now, Vietnam
this
is very
Vietnam.
humid. I mean,
Yes.
how long does it take a pot of that size to dry? Week?
Yeah, at
Yeah.
least for it to be because like you mentioned, Josh, it has to be to the correct amount of dry time before it can go into the kiln, because if there's too much moisture in it, it will not fire properly.
Okay.
So it's very much an art, and they just know this stuff. I mean, it differs. It changes throughout the year. If it's a drier time, if they're in the rainy season, the dry time's longer. So there's just so many factors, and the craftsmen there they just have that innate knowledge, because it's a talent that's been passed down through their families.
Now, did they use a traditional ceramics process, where they take the slip and actually pour it into molds at any point?
For the small houseplant pots.
Okay.
So for most of these smaller pots that you're seeing on the table are the slip cast method. So yes.
There it is.
That is very pretty.
Yeah. This is the pot that you saw with the etching in it. And it was so cool to see that happening. And she's sitting there one by one on the wheel, just, etching it out with her tool. And,
I actually have two of these pots at home.
And those are much more delicate. They are not to be used outside in the cold weather, and they might probably do okay outside in the summertime, right?
Yes, that is exactly right. We recommend that it's not fired as hot. These are fired in gas kilns, so they're much more temperature controlled environments. The gas kilns they can be on rollers or a closed up unit or whatever. There's a lot of different ways that the gas kilns are, but yes. So you would want to bring your houseplant pots in the winter, because they probably won't make it through the cold weather.
I have
And those houseplants won't either. So.
Right.
I have the image of the gas kiln up now.
Okay.
Tyler.
Yeah. So that's how most of the smaller pots are done in these. And so it's a much more temperature controlled environment when they are in these gas kilns, and that's on a conveyor belt. So it will go through this firing process and come out I think this one's probably already been fired, and it's coming out the other end. And we do have some larger outdoor pottery that is also fired in gas kilns. Those are mostly from China, because and you can get some pretty unique glazes when you're able to really control the temperature in the kilns. So there's also really good frost-resistant pottery that comes out of China. Most of what you see on my table these are all Vietnamese pots, but China is also, there's certain regions, these factories tend to be regionally located, and they're sort of because the clay that comes from that region is what it has certain qualities that makes a certain type of pottery.
Very good. Now, is there one that you prefer over the other as far as the technique, or that you have a favorite that color that did you see produced out of these? Because there is some uniqueness that it on just on the table in front of you. There's beautiful shades.
Yes. I'm drawn to the Vietnamese pottery, and I think it's just because when I see how handmade they really are, it's just amazing to me. And I think of all the hands that have made it and that can actually get landed here, and you can, I don't know, that just makes me happy.
That's what I'm wondering.
So
like, how
it's
many
an art
people?
piece. Yeah, a lot.
I was about to say, like, this got to be a huge business for Vietnam. I mean, that's not a very large country. I would assume like that's a huge. I mean, it almost seems like tons of pottery I see. Almost all of it seems like it's from Vietnam. So it's got to be big business over there. It seems like, and you're telling me, to make big pots, like just one person can only make like 8 a day, and the amount of pottery that just we receive.
Yeah, if you think about
like
all those pallets we get, I mean, we got, I think, like 12 pallets of pottery that was 10 feet tall.
Right.
And they're
And it was
stacked.
all
And
from,
all from Vietnam.
Yeah.
It just seems.
Well, and it
It's
coming
so
from
much.
literally from the other side of the world,
Right.
On a truck to the port, into a container, across the wide open sea and the waves, into another port and most likely, I don't imagine they're going to New York City. They're probably going to L.A. or Seattle.
I bring mine into Charleston. Pretty
Do you
much.
really?
A little bit of Savannah, but we're in North Carolina, so Charleston's actually the closest port. But sometimes we use Savannah. We have used L.A. and railed them across, but that port is not good right now.
No, none of them are. New Orleans is not great.
Yeah.
What part of North Carolina is the company located?
We're actually in Fletcher, which is between Asheville and Hendersonville. So
Up in the mountains.
We are in the mountains in the western part of the state. It's the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's a beautiful area, and that's where our warehouse and showroom are.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You want to just feature a couple of them that are on the table in front of you?
Yeah, and Josh, you were asking some of my favorites. I think probably my favorite color right now, I use this a lot at my home. I love container gardening, obviously, but
somebody you can get the plant, and somebody at the place, right?
Right. I used to change my pots out every year, but now I can't. We are selling so many, and so I can't really do that. I'm like, no. But if you can see the blues that are coming out, if you can you see the blues that are coming out. So lots of things like that happen on these potteries, and they're not defects. They're enhanced characteristics of the pottery, and those are just the results of the variations in the glazes, the variations in the heat that it receives within the kiln, because even within the chamber of the kiln, there are different temperatures. So I think that makes it cool, and you can see some brown edges around the top. So when I'm looking for my own, I'm going for these really oddball ones that have lots of strange things going on in them. The one in the back, these are finger busters. When
I've got my hands on those. Yep.
When you handle these, but they're so gorgeous, you might be able to see. Well, maybe I better not do that, but
That's okay.
might be problematic.
You can kind of see it from the top, though, like the texture.
Yeah. It's
But somebody's going to have to go through and put that texture on that
How
pot.
do they do that?
So this one is interesting. I just saw this factory on my last trip. I'd not actually observed it. We call these Atlantis Finishes. There's a lot of names for them out there, but so the chemical glaze that's put on it after the pot is formed is it bubbles up, and then when you look at it, it's like, oh, that thing is so ugly, and then they sort of take tools and some machinery, I guess,
Squish
and
it down,
smooth it down. So see, Cary, you can see that where this is the glaze is vitrified there. It's even more glossy there, but it's more rough up here. So these are.
I wish you guys could see it.
Sorry,
Josh.
Is it possible to move one of the pots aside, maybe? And
Let's see. I might be able to.
Cary can handle some
See
pottery.
that?
I'm just going to
If she
show off my
moves that.
muscles real quick.
Yeah.
Pull this over.
I like Kate. She's strong.
She's our
It's all that pottery lifting.
official,
Yes.
unofficial pottery manager.
I wish she would come help me. No, I'm just kidding.
I could come visit.
No.
Not
And
good
then
to
we're gonna-
recruit David's people on his TV show. So
Okay. So now you can, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's what you were missing out seeing. That's gorgeous.
So, and that's just, and you could pull another one out that would look totally different. So these Atlantis finishes, you guys have lots of those coming.
And they sell, sell quicker than most everything else.
Now,
They're
what
popular.
would be a good suggestion for a plant to go into that one? I mean,
Take it.
because it's so tall already. I mean, you were going
Right.
to want to maybe have something that's going to flow, or are you going to try to pop up off the top?
I actually did some pot ups for a customer of ours, and she bought, I think, 9 of your Atlantis pots, and some of
Okay.
them were that size. And I did like mixed annuals and the tall ones because they're not too heavy, they're not going to blow over. And yeah, I did some trailers in the front. So
Okay, but now with the depth of that one, we're gonna have to put a lot of earth mix in that one. Or
I filled
you
the bottom
gonna
with pine fines.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
probably like the third of the bottom, and then soil in the rest.
Now I noticed that I don't see a lot of the I call them drip trays underneath these. Now, do you recommend them underneath the plots, Karen?
A lot of people ask for trays. Now, our small pots, a lot of them will come with attached trays. For
Okay.
the large pots, it is, we recommend pot feet. We actually sell the pot feet that are made out of the same earthenware material as the large pots in all the colors. I think you guys have those, but
we do.
in different shapes, a ball shape and then a triangle shape to raise it up off the ground. Because if it sits in a tray, I know some people love the trays, but if it sits in a tray, it's just going to sit in water. These pots are heavy to clean the water out of that tray.
Right.
So once it's planted, it's just better to have it. You want to have the pot raised for the plant. It's
So-
not just
Yeah.
the pot, but for the
So like a
plant.
rock underneath it. Is that what I'm hearing? I'm just having a little trouble picturing what it is when you say
Well,
feet.
Okay, so we have little triangular. It's a ceramic. It's made out of the same material as this, and it's just a little, flat shape, maybe an inch thick, and ceramic. And you would put like 1, 2, 3 of them. I should have brought
Pot
some of
shims.
those. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
they're
like
shims.
shims. Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Very
you
good.
could use bricks or whatever. I mean, there's plastic things like that. I think on the market that you can use. You don't have to use ours, but.
But yours probably look really good.
They match the pot.
Yeah.
So and if you do want to bring your pot inside, like if you're using it, most of these pots are used outdoors, but if they're used inside, the larger ones, we just brought the smaller versions of all of these because of the space.
Oh, there's
but-
some I can fit in.
Yeah.
This, that's
Yeah.
the
Wow.
smallest one.
That's the smallest one in that nest, but you can sometimes take one of the plastic trays and stick it in the inside of the pot to catch any water if you're putting it inside your home, and you don't want the water dripping on your nice floors. So you can. That's sometimes what I've done at home.
Well, very good, very good. We'll come back to you in just a minute, but Tyler, I think it's about time we need to do since we're talking from Bates Nursery and Garden Center, it's about time to feature Bates Nursery and Garden Center in this edition of the At Home Show, where David will get really mad because I know he's probably watching. But everything's we'll come back on. I want to really talk about the gold one front that has the pattern on it as well.
Oh, yeah, the scalloped one.
Yeah, that
She's
one's neat.
pretty.
Everything's got. But come back on. I want to really talk about the gold.
Sorry.
Put me into a loop. Put me into a loop. Put me into a loop.
We're falling apart.
Oh no! Sorry. Hold on. Oh, what a mess.
That was kind of spooky.
You
It is
tell me
October,
when to pot it
so
up there, Tyler.
Oh, when to pot it up? Okay,
Yeah.
got you. Yes. One moment. Sorry.
Dun, 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 dun.
I have to do some magicianry behind the scenes here.
But-
Obviously,
Needless to say, Bates Nursery and Garden Center is located at 3810 Whites Creek Pike. That's 0.9 miles.
It's a mile. Here, stop.
0.9 miles.
Now we're running the commercial.
Okay.
Yep.
3810 Whites Creek Pike. That's 0.9 miles.
It's a mile. Here,
No,
stop.
it's not. 9 miles.
Now we're running the commercial.
Okay. There we go. But lots of pansies. Creek Pike. That's 0.9.
I'm
Fancy time.
so sorry.
No, that's okay. It's
Tell you
really
what,
it's kind
yeah.
of tricky.
why
It's a mile north of Briley Parkway.
No, it's not. It's 0.9 miles north
People
of Briley
like
Parkway.
Caroline over here can help you find whatever you need.
Veggies from the
Tyler.
garden, or
Tyler.
even a hanging
Yep.
basket
Austin.
for
All the rest of the
Bates
stuff.
Nursery and
Everybody.
Garden Center.
Okay.
When David's here, he's happy to help.
You got big stuff, you got little stuff, you got fruit trees, you got annuals, we got, I'm sure, the fall color, pansies. It's you
You
have
still have
to
those Halloween pansies, those black ones?
We do, yeah.
sold
Not a
bunch
lot though.
yesterday.
Did you sell out
I
of them
did.
though?
No, not sold out, but I sold a lot of flats.
We
today.
had a tray and a half of the 4-inch pots and the black pansies. I bought 4 singles.
Hey, she's stealing them before the customers get them, but that's okay. But
Hey, I paid for them.
that's good.
I wasn't stealing them.
No, but folks, it's a pleasant place to shop. I come from Smyrna. It's worth the drive from anywhere, truly, if you want to come out and see one of the finest garden centers in the United States, if not the whole world, truly. I've seen them because even when we went on trips, I was trying to find the garden centers over in Greece, and they pale in comparison, but they do have olive trees.
I'm sure they do.
So, but that's because they grow there. But folks, come out and take a look at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. Visit with the staff. Don't forget to pick up your earth mix while you're out here too, because they've got it all. If you need it in bulk, you can just bring your trailer or your truck, and they can load that up for you as you go too. But oh my goodness, Cary, before we talk any more about some pots, so let's get a couple of more questions in, if you don't mind.
We
man.
have a live question.
we
that
have
just came
a
in.
live question.
Yep, that's right. On the Facebook page,
Mm-hmm.
Jules is asking, what are the best ground covers for erosion control on a sunny, clay-based slope in a residential backyard? Something that looks nice but doesn't attract waspers near a pool. Thank you.
Turf grass would be great.
Clover?
Clover is fine. If you want something more like evergreen through the whole season, you could even use like ground cover juniper. Does very well on a clay slope because it doesn't need a lot of water, which is nice. So that would work. There's Pachysandra, which is a evergreen ground cover that flowers white. That could work. Grasses do very well. There's some smaller grasses, ornamental grasses that you can put in mass that do really well on a slope like that. So a number of options, and we have all of those options here.
And folks, that we've had this question through the years, and I have seen a lot of these where if you just have the slope, you're not going to be as happy as if you do some tiering, if you can at all. And then that way it kind of opens up what else you can do there. But if you can do any kind of tiering, and if you know somebody with a small bobcat, or and even somebody really motivated with a shovel, I wouldn't want to even begin to try to do it.
Yard boy.
With a shovel?
Pay him enough, I'm sure he'll do it.
You might aerate it for you, but it makes it hard to mow, and it makes it hard to maintain, and it makes them hard to weed if you can't walk. So but with even Pachysandra is does real well. I've seen in those cases too.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. All right.
What else?
And on a live one. Okay. And you're next, ma'am.
Ooh, that was exciting. Okay, so this next question comes from HP Hips Robinson. When to plant spring bulbs? And it's funny we got that question because I know Austin just did a great pro tip video with Tyler that had to do with planting spring bulbs. So take it away, Austin.
All right. Plant your spring bulbs now.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's the weather's breaking. It was, if you plant your spring bulbs a little too early, they might try to crack up and be, try to push before you really want them in the spring. So we need to make sure they're going to stay dormant. But we're getting to that point where night temps are starting to drop, day temps are dropping, and plants are going to start going into their dormancy stage. So let's go ahead and get those those spring bulbs planted in the fall, and they're going to lie dormant over the winter and crack up in the spring.
I'm going to put out some Lycoris today. Probably not tomorrow since it's going to rain so bad. But
chorus, huh? Little naked ladies.
A little radiata there, boy, spider lilies.
Okay.
But no, I got those. They came in from the Marlboro Bowl Company, and I mean they're gorgeous. A lot of people call them surprise lilies. It's the one with the one stalk, but these are red. Oh my God!
That's going to be cool.
So we'll see.
Those are really cool. Surprise lily. If y'all don't know about those, they come up with their foliage first and the spring, and they're going to sit there just looking like leaves. And then once it gets too hot, the leaves go dormant and they just shed. And then after that, you get a single stalk with a bloom. So
it's going to produce foliage through the summer because the blooms are just within the last 3-4 weeks have been when they were popping them out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they bloom without any foliage. So
I have to tell that.
Really
they're
odd
crazy.
plant. Mm-hmm.
They're real pretty and kind of a surprise, which hence one of their
Spider
names.
lilies, they call them too.
They have a lot of names. All right, Y'all ready for the next one?
Yes.
So we have two that came from CP O'Neill. The first one is best time to plant cherry laurel.
Oh gosh, really? Any time. I mean, I would avoid the dead of the winter and the dead of the summer, but other than that, you can pretty much plant a cherry laurel anytime. And we carry cherry laurels, all year long. We never really like to run
have
out
a
of
lot
those.
right now.
Yeah, we really do. So now is really a good time to plant almost anything. I mean, if there was some things that I wouldn't recommend to plant right now and wait till the spring, but for the most part, get it planted. It's time. The weather's breaking. It's getting to where we're going to have some good moisture coming on in the fall and then through the winter. So let's plant them.
Absolutely. Okay, one more.
One more, and I think we might have just gotten another one on our Facebook page. I don't know, Tyler, if you want to check that.
I
I
think
just
we
saw
did.
Coosa Dogwood or something.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
I Love Lucy. She's got some I Love Lucy 5.3. But
All right, let's save that one. Let me get one more in, and then we'll get to that one. So just to follow up with CP O'Neill, since they have two back-to-back, why are the leaves on my dogwoods turning yellow and brown? Too much shade, or is it the soil?
It could be neither. Honestly, I don't know how old your dogwood is or if it's a brand new planting. If it is a brand new planting, getting stressful leaves this time of year is pretty common with a dogwood, y'all. I mean, a big established one is going to have some really nice reddish fall color and it's going to persist for a while. But on new plantings especially, they get stressed early. Dogwoods are well known for kind of taking a minute to really latch in and get kind of seated where they're going to be. So, it may not be cause for concern at all. It could just be a little bit of stress, dropping a little early. So I need a little more info on that to really help you out. But for the most part, like I said, dogwoods are they're getting to that point in the season where they're getting a little stressed and they're getting ready to drop. So probably nothing to worry about.
Let's go on to looking at some pots again. And now that
Back over to Karen.
Back over to Karen. Now I see one that is really retro. That has got the white one with the. That is just the coolest thing.
Oh yeah, this is my favorite one too.
Yes.
Josh, good eye.
Of course.
That's a good fall
And
pot.
it's orange.
It is a good
You
fall
might
pot.
I'd throw some
see
pansies
that.
in there.
Yeah.
You'll put pansies in anything.
Oh, it's a hanging basket as well.
I'm gonna let go.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a hanging planter. So you guys have lots of these hanging planters coming in Monday, I believe. And that one doesn't have, that's a sample. But we call this color splash hanging planter. We have it in green and blue, beautiful tones too.
Wow. Now that you could use that in the kitchen and put onions and stuff in it and hang it and use it as well. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not just a flower pot.
Whoa,
Use it
Josh.
for anything. Getting wild over there.
Yeah. Multi-purpose, yes. Put your bananas in there.
Yep, you could.
Well, I'm seeing
Absolutely.
some of the tall skinnies and some of the floor to ceiling window condos over in East Nashville and in the Gulch. I mean, you're gonna need all the space you can get and that's a neat one too. Oh my!
There's
goodness.
another one.
Okay.
That is one that I haven't seen that style before.
It's unique with
we haven't had
with
this
the
one here
wicker
yet.
wrapping and stuff.
Yeah.
That's new in the collection this year. That just came out.
Is it-
And you will notice that most of our pots will have this little rubber plug. So if you plant into it's going to be hard for me to stuff it back in there. But,
You got it.
So you can plant in it and then plug it back. When you water it, you can take the plug out to let the water drain through, and then you can plug it back up, especially if you're sitting pots on your table or something like that, so
Yeah.
they don't drip out on you. So most of our pots are done like that.
Okay. And then the gold one it's
That's
very
the one
shallow
Josh
and
has already talked about a little bit. Let me reach over
Yeah.
here. Ooh.
Yes. That is called the Sophia bowl, and it is beautiful for succulents. I've seen people put some of their Christmas bulbs in there.
pasta.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really
So
beautiful.
you'd say pasta?
Pasta.
Yeah, pasta bowl.
Could definitely be a pasta, a very small pasta.
I don't
bowl.
think I can guarantee these are food safe.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
if I would put food into
But
it.
but anyway, yes, that is. I have the larger version of this at my home on my dining room table because it's one of my favorite pots. With this, and this is these rubs, this gold rub. This is another example of how that these finishes are hand rubbed on there. This gold that you see popping out on there. So I love that one.
It's
That one's one of my
gorgeous.
favorite. We
That
have
one's and that one has a very shiny finish as well. So I mean, it's going to work real well in any kitchen or anywhere it's going to go. Now, now, do you have any in bronzes or silvers then with that kind of a finish on them?
We do. We do have some bronze and silver colors. We do have some coming, I think, in January. But I think actually you guys in your store now have some bronze, some golds and silvers. We do have some.
I think so.
Smooth. We call them egg planters with the trays attached in a bronze and a mirror finish. That are great for just for good drop-ins. They're like for larger sizes, 6, 8, and 10-inch drop-ins, or maybe a 12-inch drop-in. So yeah, we do. We have some. We do have some of those in the collection as well.
And those are more retro. That one and the first one we talked. That one is a bit more traditional, and that would go in anywhere. If you have a country decor or a cabin decor, it would work anywhere you wanted it to be. And I imagine those come in. I bet that one comes in blue.
That one doesn't come in blue, but that would be nice in blue. It does come in sort of a citrusy, lemony color.
Oh, I do like that.
Yeah. So, we try to offer a very broad range of color options in houseplant pots. We have just white's very popular, but then everybody likes to throw in a pop of color in their home. So, yeah.
Hey, Karen, what's the not new, but a very popular trend that's happening right now is bonsai pots. What's going on in that world?
I do not carry bonsai planters right now. So I have been asked to do that by a number of my customers. But I don't have those in the line yet. So.
Well, that little squat one you showed that was,
That would be a
a
perfect
fine
bonsai,
bonsai
yeah.
pot. I mean, they can double as that. So
We might have to put a bonsai in there today, or maybe next week when it's not a Saturday.
Yeah.
We can do a project when it's a little bit slower.
Yeah. It's hard to do this.
Well, and one good thing to mention that we were talking about, we are getting a big pottery shipment in here at Bates Nursery on Monday.
Right.
So Pottery Market will be coming in. I was looking over what we're getting, and it's a lot. So most of what you have today, we will be getting in, and if we don't, it's coming in the spring.
Yes. Now, everything I selected today, it was either from here or I made sure it was styles that you guys were getting. So
We will have it all.
this one is a fun little pot.
I do love that
Hold
one.
This one is called the Doodle Pot. And I don't know if it's showing up very well, but this will not be here until you'll have to wait for, January, February for this one. But this has like a wrap. We actually bought the rights to this artist's work, and it's wrapped. It's a piece of wrap that goes around the pot after it's formed. So I think these
I
are.
love it, and it's got all
they're-
these little plants on it.
Yeah.
Lots of cactus, which is my favorite. So
Now, is it almost looks like it has a cork bottom. Is
It does,
It does.
but it is ceramic.
Okay.
It's just painted that. It gives a little, I think it adds a nice little edge. And they're good sized pots. I mean,
Yeah.
they're heavy feeling. These are not.
I'm going to pull this one
Yeah.
up because we haven't talked about
Yeah.
that yet. The Lizzy Pot. I have 4 of these. I love them. This was actually the first pot I bought here at Bates Nursery when I started.
Yeah.
This exact same size and same color. So
what'd you put in it?
I have a little cactus in it right now.
course.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Most of my plants are cacti, so makes
Well,
sense.
even it's pixelating a little bit on the screen, but that is a neat pattern that it has on it as well.
Those are popular. A lot of people go out with those.
Yeah, these
A lot
sell
of
really
people.
quickly, and you
Yes.
can't really see the texture, like Josh was saying. It's pixelated. Hi.
Got the camera guy.
Close in.
You guys can't see, but Tyler's running around here. Oh, you got a glimpse of him right there.
David
Oh,
would be
wow,
like, "Don't
up close.
cross the camera."
That's Flash.
I thought it was exciting. I'd say do it again. Okay, yeah, so you can see it a lot better now.
That is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see the copper that's coming through. We actually
Yes.
call this finished copper aqua, but this one is absolutely our most popular small pot. This is the smaller size. It comes in a larger size as well, and those are on the shipment. Miss Paula asked us to wait until her Lizzy Pots were back because
Paula
you guys,
needs them.
you guys needed to get those back in. I think it's a good seller.
Yeah,
so it's
I have
just
both
a
sizes in that
cute
one.
little pot. It's everything looks good in it.
You need to come out and see them, and then that shipment is due in next week. So I mean that next Saturday, maybe we'll bring in a few, and maybe we could do a little video next week where we can see as the shipment's coming on and watch Cary and Austin
we can video
unloading
those.
them.
Yeah,
again.
those big crates,
You know,
the pallets. It's a
Pottery is
process.
great, but it is, Karen, it is horrible to unload. It is heavy. Everything is just
I like that you had to say Karen. But Karen,
it's true. I mean, it's a lot of hard work to get pottery set out and priced and everything. I mean, it's fantastic. Pottery is unreal. I mean, houseplants have gotten crazy. People are just got the bug, with the houseplants. And with every houseplant, you have to have a cool pot to go with it. So it's part of it, and it's part of our job that we have to deal with. But once again,
I enjoy it. It's exercise,
No,
and you
you
get to see some.
Yeah, you don't need a gym.
Whoa.
Oh, good thing you're on the other side of the studio right now. But one thing being said, so I've talked to Karen about it. Pottery market shipment is always the best one. When it comes in, I mean, yes, the pots are heavy, but it's always organized, and just you guys do such a great job.
Thank you.
yeah, you do.
I hope my warehouse people are listening to that. They
Yes,
appreciate it. We do work hard.
I
at that.
appreciate it. It makes my job a lot easier. So
Put
Yeah.
more packing peanuts in though, because I know they love to deal with
Don't-
the packing.
don't
Yeah,
do
put
it.
more packing peanuts in. That-
Oh,
we
hey,
get some weird stuff that the
shoe
pottery-
material?
the shoe material.
Is that like from the Nike factory?
That is the factories. So the Vietnamese potteries. I'm probably butchering this name, but it's the Ben Nhung province, just outside of Ho Chi Minh City or Saigon. It's about an hour from there, and the Nike. There's a lot of shoe factories there, so they use their, they cut out the insoles and the waste around that. The suppliers use that as padding between the nesting of the pots. The small, medium, large, or whatever they use it. And it
very nice.
It's good for the environment. We're reusing.
Keeps them from
Materials,
clanging around.
but then ultimately when it lands here, you guys have to deal with it.
I think my
We
dad
do go
used to
through a
go
lot,
camping
yeah.
over there, right where she's talking about. I mean, he spent a couple of years over there
Yeah.
doing something.
Yeah.
Oh, 615-499-6690. That is the number to join us. Now, we did have another question on the Facebook page, but I am having a little difficulty downloading the image to the to where we can show it. But the question is our landscaper planted a Coosa dogwood in our yard a year ago? I've never seen one, but it has done quite well in our yard. Put it in the right spot, sounds like, right, Austin? Mm-hmm. This year it has these big red fruit or berries on it. Is this normal? I have never seen anything like this on a tree before, and they do look a bit like a growth, but
It's not.
it's not.
That's their fruit. That's their seeds. You can let those get a little bit squishy and then eat them.
Ooh,
They're good.
Are they good?
I eat them out here on the lot. Yeah, we have them fruit out here on the lot like that. Pedro, which is my amigo out here,
Wow.
me and him sit there and peel them and eat
What's
them.
it taste like?
Honestly,
A Coosa dogwood
hard
fruit?
to explain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's looks like it should taste like a strawberry, but it doesn't. It's kind of sweet. It's not great. Don't get me wrong. I like to just eat them just because they're there and they're
Okay.
on the lot. We eat all sorts of fruit out here on the lot. When the blueberries start fruiting, when the raspberries start fruiting, I got raspberries out on the vine right
Figs.
now. Figs, whenever.
Figs.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the recommended
You snack good out
the recommended texture is just slightly squishy.
Yeah, you need to let them get kind of squishy, like a fig. Figs need to get pretty well squish before
I
you
love
want to eat
figs.
them.
I do too.
Who doesn't? They're
Well,
fruit of the gods.
I love Lucy 53, and I love Lucy too. So, but that's great. But that's a good thing. You've got something in there that is
That
edible
means you got a
landscape.
healthy, happy tree. It's
Yes.
producing its fruits, trying to set seed, which is what they want to do. So yeah, but yeah, go on out there and give yourself a taste. See what you think it tastes like.
It looks like it's planted in as a corner fixture in a semi-shady yard. But I mean, I'll let you see the pictures. But the beautiful wrought iron fence behind it. So
Austin,
good spot.
speaking of trees, did we not get more in this week?
Oh God, we got
I didn't mean to
more
trigger
trees.
you. I'm
I'm so
sorry.
excited this
We've
morning
got-
about everything.
we've got more trees than I've ever seen at Bates Nursery. We got literally 3 different holding pads for trees right now.
Jeez.
You can barely see what you're after, which is a good thing and a bad thing a little bit. It's kind of hard to shop if you come out here looking for a specific tree. Find one of us to come help you find a tree, because they are packed on top of each other. But if you need a tree, it's almost anything you could want. We've got it.
Okay.
So
Awesome. Very good. Michael, you pulled your microphone up in front. Is there something that you'd like to add to this?
do you need a
discussion?
tree, Michael?
No, I don't.
Come on.
Everybody
I
needs a
don't
tree.
I got too many trees.
Karen, you want to take a tree home?
I would
You
love
got
to
room?
take a tree home. Can you-
How about a flower pot?
Yes. No flower pots. I have plenty
You
of
have
those,
so many.
but I would like to have some plants to go in them. Maybe I've
Yeah,
already
tree in
looked
a pot?
around. Yes,
But
I think a little earth mix. I might need to take home. As
Oh,
well.
Organics
definitely.
Eye now.
Yes.
Organics Eye for everything that you see over there. And if you're going to put them outside now,
Okay.
Organics O. Now you could use any of the earth mix blends, but which one would you think would be best for one of those great big pots that Karen's talking about?
I use landscape in
Landscape?
my like large containers for my outdoor mix planters, and I have a couple Japanese maple in pots outside. I always go with the landscape. The outdoor is great as well. I just love the landscape. I can use it for pretty much anything.
And again, on these great big ones, you've also got, we're not going to call it filler material, but pine fines is not straw, it's not rocks. It's actually another amendment that you put in and mix in with soil. So you've got that too as well. Now, you can get all the Earth Mix products at anywhere around. Just go to the earthmix.net page, find your locator. It's available broadly in Middle Tennessee, up into Illinois and Ohio, and moving towards other areas. I know that that is growing as we go. Here at Bates, you can get it in bulk. So bring your truck and bring it on. I mean, but if you got to have bags, man, bag product is nice because you can put it in any vehicle. And take it home with you. And you need to get a bag every time you come out here to Bates Nursery and Garden Center. Anything else, Karen, that you would want to touch base on? I mean, I know that we've talked about supply side and supply chain issues, but are you seeing any in particular? You said you mentioned that most of your stuff comes in from in through Charleston, but you have to fill the container before they'll even put it on. You can't get a partial shipment. You got to fill that rascal full.
Yes, we do not want to pay to ship air. Right? So we bring in 40-foot containers, high cubes or standards, and they are brought into the port and then trucked to us. There is a lot of demand. You're hearing on the news about the ocean freight. It's gotten very expensive, and it's there's basically more demand than there is capacity. So
once you get it in, you got to get it out to the customers, and that's not as easy to do.
Yeah, then even the trucking industry, we put our orders in for incoming containers, weeks in advance before it's even cleared customs, so that we sort of have a trucker on notice, because if it sits in the port, they like to charge you for everything that they do, so it's quite expensive. So it's more challenging now, but you manage through it, and this too will pass. Everything does.
Yes, it will. It will. And like I said, new shipment coming into Bates next week. Karen, thank you for joining us this morning. When can you come back and visit again?
My pleasure. I love coming over here. I love you guys. This is one of my favorite towns to come to, so I will be happy to return.
Okay, very good. And that's Karen Enlow from the Pottery Market. And do you have a website as well?
Yes, we do. It's we're a wholesale distributor, so you have to buy your products through an independent retailer like Bates. But we do have a website. You can go look at our stuff. You can follow us on Instagram or Facebook. Instagram, it's The Pottery Market is our. So yeah, we'd love to have you follow us, because we throw stuff up there that we're coming, that is coming soon.
And you probably have a dealer locator, so if folks are in Illinois or Ohio or Chattanooga in particular, I imagine you've got a pretty good customer down there too.
You can just give us a call and we'll direct you to a dealer near you. We do get a lot of inquiries. People find our website and are looking for pots, so we do try to give them, people in their area. So we do try to help our dealers that way.
Okay. Well, once again, thank you for joining us.
Thank
we
you.
didn't even
My
get to
pleasure.
talk about a lot of the plants, but I see a lot of fall color. I think it's an oak leaf hydrangea behind you there. And
Tyler picked that out.
he did, and they're doing
helped me
well.
with this.
Got the twiggies that we're holding in front of Michael over here.
Yeah.
And it's soft. It was kind of like a
we
filter.
put up a grass wall.
Yeah.
We did.
It's kind of like a filter, as it were,
I
softening
liked
him.
it.
We're gonna
Michael,
turn-
you look great behind that grass.
Michael's gonna become our Mr. Wilson.
Here we go. I'm okay with that. I don't want to be.
Is that a red tip or a red twig or what is that? Is that a grass or is it?
That's a
actually
grass.
Okay. Very good. Very
Grasses
good.
are great for the
Blue
fall.
Heaven, Little Blue Stem.
Little blue
Ooh.
stem. Good native.
All right. And coleus? Is that what these are?
These are
No,
heuchera.
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 Coral
Heuchera,
bells.
pansies, and creeping Jenny.
Smoke bush behind you, lining the whole way.
We went for kind of a purple theme a little bit, you know.
Okay.
It's our
It's
first
October.
October at home show. So,
Okay.
And those oak
Getting a little
leaves are getting a
spooky.
little purpley too.
yeah.
Well, Bates Motel will be opening up pretty soon, I'm sure. And by the way, in David's neighborhood, they give away the king size bars. I mean, the Milky Ways. Every house does it. Senor Bates, get better, and we hope to see you in here next Saturday morning, where you can see us too. So we missed you, brother. And for everybody here at the At Home Show, we want to thank Karen Enlow from the Pottery Market once again for joining us, folks. Go out to YouTube, like the channel, share the show on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and we appreciate it. Next Saturday morning, we'll be here for another At Home